everybody, and welcome back to Anxious Me, my journey with Fluoxetine. And today I'm just wearing a thermal shirt because, I don't know, another lazy day. It's been really stormy lately. Where I live, we're expecting, they're calling it a historic event, this storm. It's supposed to be like the biggest storm since 1950 something or 1960 something or something like that. But where I live specifically, we're supposed to not get the worst of it. The high winds and everything is supposed to go right around where I live, because I live near mountains. I have mountains in my city, and I guess the mountains are kind of blocking a lot of the wind out. But we're getting a lot of rain. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to grab onto an excuse or something. But I haven't gone anywhere today. Did I go anywhere today? No, I didn't. I just kind of hung around the house. I didn't really stay in my cave or anything. I did go outside and do a few things. I had to clean up around the house a little bit and keep myself busy. But I had a good day today. I was able to sleep in a lot more. I caught up on sleep. I haven't really been tired today necessarily. I could go out and go driving and go hang out and stuff. I'm not tired in that sense, but since it's been such a cold and rainy and muggy October day outside, I've kind of just been keeping warm and staying inside, and so I'm relaxed today. I'm relaxed. I'm not necessarily tired, but I'm relaxed. And I always bring that up, whether I'm tired or not, because it seems like that's something people deal with lorazepam, or not lorazepam, with fluoxetine, is sleepiness after taking the medication. So I like to update on that. I know I'm always talking about whether I'm tired or not. I was going to talk about something today, and I do not remember what it was. Something to do with heat. Oh, I think I was going to talk about my triggers. What triggers me to freak out and panic. And a lot of it has to do with time-consuming things. Even if it's just 30 seconds. Like waiting in line behind somebody at a grocery store really sets off my anxiety, because I want to my panic. I want to get there, check out, and leave. I want to get everything done as quick as possible. And even a few moments of having to wait will set off my panic so bad. And I'm thinking back to my worst days when my panic was at its worst. And a lot of that was like drive-throughs, whether that be at a pharmacy or a fast food place, checkout lines, stoplights. And then it got to the point of just driving in a car. Even if I wasn't driving, just riding with somebody, I would be on edge, just about crawling out of my skin. I have to close my eyes and kind of forget that I was in a car with somebody. Or, oh man, it was so bad. So anything time consuming is a big trigger for me. It got to the point where showering, I couldn't take a shower because that was too time consuming. It was, talk about living in the moment. I was literally living second by second, because the anticipation, I don't know, I can't explain it. It was like a moments of psychosis or mania or something. I pretty much lost my mind. I was crazy. I don't know, it's crazy. I feel like being anxious and panicky about simple things like grocery shopping and all that, it's crazy to freak out so bad about such little things like that. I don't know, I can't even wrap my head around it. And I totally understand why other people don't get this illness, or they don't understand this illness, because it just doesn't make sense at all. So that is a trigger for me for my panic. And full disclaimer, this medication I feel like is definitely helping with those triggers. But another one is being too warm. If I'm too warm, I feel like I'm going to panic. And it's all physical things. If I have to wait for something, I feel like I'm going to pass out or faint, or I just got to move. I got to do something. And if it's too warm, I feel like I'm going to pass out. Just all the same concerns. And my vision starts getting blurry, and all, the typical symptoms of anxiety and panic and stuff. So I wanted to bring that up because this last summer was great. I handled it just fine, but the 2 or 3 or 4 summers before this last one we just had were miserable for me, because it was too warm outside, and I was absolutely panicked every single day. I was doing everything I could to stay cool. I didn't want to overheat. I didn't want to get heat exhaustion. And there's no reason why I would get heat exhaustion. You know, I drink plenty of water, and you know, I eat food, and I eat food. Basically, I'm not doing anything that would cause me to, like, you know, have any kind of medical issues as far as like heat exhaustion or anything. But I would be so terrified of that happening, because I figured, you know, well, anything's possible. Like, maybe I'd be the first case of this happening. It's all irrational fears and irrational thoughts, and that's just the classic thing with anxiety and panic. This last summer was good, but again, the point I'm trying to make is, I think now that it's October and it's kind of cooler outside, I think it's less of a trigger. I am taking this medication, and that's helping 99% of all of my getting better through these past couple months or so, or 40 whatever days it's been, has to do with the medication. But when this month comes around and when the weather starts getting cooler, it makes it a lot easier to manage my anxiety, because that particular trigger of being too warm and too hot and that stuff is not a thing. Time-consuming stuff, checkout lines, that's still stuff that I have to tough it out. Thankfully, this medication is helping that. And we're only 40-something days into this, but I'm almost tempted to go back and watch the first few days and see how I was talking about this medication, because I was extremely doubtful that this medication would help at all. And I was doubtful about counseling too. I didn't think there was any way that if I went to some guy or some girl, a counselor, I didn't think me going there and telling them my problems would help me in any kind of way. Because I've been telling people about my problems for, a year or two before I even considered going to counseling. But I think just getting out of the house and having this structure where every week I had to go talk to somebody, and they had their own kind of structure of the questions they would ask, and catching up on the plans we made, and just having that structure. And maybe it was simply getting out of the house once a week really helped. Really helped a lot of things with me getting better about getting out of the house. So if anything, I know a lot of people are watching this video because they're taking Fluoxetine or Prozac or some kind of medication for the first time for their anxiety and panic and stuff, and they're unsure about it. And if you're unsure about the medication, 100% try counseling. You don't need to see a therapist. You don't need to see a psychologist. If you can afford that stuff, great. But honestly, just as simple of a thing as counseling is, where all you're doing, they never try to push drugs on you. They never try to push medication on you. They might try to talk you into taking like a group class with other people that deal with anxiety and panic. But they'll never push it on you too hard. They'll just encourage it and suggest it. I never did groups or anything. I went to this counseling stuff for over 2 years. And it was just once a week or once every couple weeks. I would go in for half hour, 45 minutes, and talk to people. And I've been through a few counselors. Some worked for me, some didn't. It might be different everywhere, but I was able to switch up my counselors at any time I wanted. If I didn't feel comfortable talking to one person, I could switch it to another person. But that helped majorly. If you're unsure about medication, I 100% encourage you to at least try counseling. It's the simplest thing you can do, and it'll get you used to the routine of getting out of the house and having to go somewhere and do something. It's going to be hard the first few weeks, or the first few times you go, the first 2 or 3 appointments you have with your counselor, because you're out of your comfort zone. You got to go there and you have to sit in a room, and we all have panic and anxiety, so you're going to be watching the clock the whole time, which actually my counselor took the clock out of his room when he had me, because he knew I'd be watching it and freaking out and literally counting the minutes until we were done. And he took the clock out, so I didn't have to do that. And also, you're not imprisoned. You don't have to be there the whole time. You don't even have to show up to these counseling things, but please try. If you don't want to take medication, you're still unsure about it, try counseling first. All you do is go there and you talk about your problems. They give suggestions, and if anything, it helps to get a lot of the stuff off your chest, because we try to talk with people around us and kind of tell them how anxiety and panic is for us, and maybe they don't understand it, so they just kind of nod and they're like, yeah, 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 and the whole time you're talking to, and I'm just speaking from experience here. I've mentioned my brother before. It's my neighbor. I consider him my brother because I've known him literally my entire life, or his entire life. He's a bit younger than me. Almost every day of my life, he doesn't understand anxiety and panic disorder at all. So anytime I've talked to him, he's kind of just nodding and like doesn't really quite get it. But it really helps to go and talk to a counselor, because that is why they are there. They are there to hear that stuff. They have experience talking with, dozens, hundreds of other people who deal with the same issue. So they know what they're talking about, and their suggestions are good. And this is basically along the lines of, if you don't want to take medication, but you're ready to start getting better and getting out and being social again, 100% look into counseling for this stuff. And there's mental health clinics everywhere. Don't feel bad about going to a mental health place. It's not full of crazy people bouncing off the walls and eating their boogers, or whatever the stigma is about mental health places. You go there, they treat you like normal. They make you welcome. They, a lot of the times they'll offer, I don't know, donuts and water and coffee and whatever it is you need to relax. And it's great. I don't go there anymore. I still need the help, but I just don't go to counseling anymore. I don't want to say that I've gotten my fill of counseling. I would like to go back sometime, honestly, but I would like to go back now, especially that I'm taking medication, because I love to tell them how much it's helping me, and really start getting new homework assignments from my counselor, and really be able to impress them, because I've gotten homework assignments from my counselor over the 2+ years that I was there, and I don't think I've done any of my homework assignments. I've failed on a lot of those. Anyways, I could talk forever on this. I could talk forever on panic and anxiety. That's why I have this channel, after all. But let's take a medication. 5 minutes late now. I've rambled on for 12.5 minutes. And that's going to do it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Anybody else out there, let me know what your triggers are. Let me know what really sets you off. You kind of got to narrow it down, because for me, if I didn't narrow it down, I would say everything gives me anxiety. But I've narrowed it down to, definitely being too warm makes me freak out. I would rather be cold than be too warm. Anything time-consuming, like checkout lines and stuff, and that also, involves car rides. So it involves a lot, but let me know in the comments down below what your triggers are. Maybe some practices you use to try to subside your anxiety and help those triggers, and we can all work together, give each other ideas. Don't avoid getting better, because I avoided everything for a long time, because in my head that was my solution. I was like, well, to not have anxiety and to not have panic attacks, I'm just going to cut all of these events and all of these things out of my life. And in a way it worked, because I didn't have any anxiety or any panic, but that was because I wasn't trying to do anything. And once I went back and tried to do those things, it was really hard. But I worked through it, and I'm telling you guys, I say this all the time, I was worst case scenario. Probably my physical health was affected by how bad my panic attacks were, honestly. I think it was bad for my heart and my blood pressure with how bad my anxiety and stuff was, just for the littlest things. So anyways, I don't want to ramble on too long. We're going on 15 minutes now. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave in the comments below what your triggers are and how you deal with them, what kind of medication you're taking, and how long you've been dealing with anxiety or panic or depression or social anxiety or agoraphobia or whatever it is, whatever problem is you have. Let me know down in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going, guys. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.